falling in reverse, trying to put energy to work. Still I wait, watching the world turn. All this time, all this mind, all these forces in my head. Lately I've been fighting for control, try to color in the monotone, reach your light into the unknown. But all this time, all that's mine, all these voices in my head go. Now it feels like the sky is gonna open up. Tonight, a star bright, burning equilibrium. In your eyes, a lifeline. No, I'm not the only one who feels like burning equilibrium.
Welcome to the 2020 CGarchitect Visualization Industry Awards. Please welcome the host of this year's awards, Jeff Mottle.
Welcome to the 17th Annual 3D Awards. This is our first ever online edition. 2020 has been a difficult year for most of us around the world, I think. So I'm hoping that today's show puts a smile on your face, inspires you to keep pushing forward and doing great things in the industry. Normally, we'd be hosting these awards at the D2 conference live in front of many of you, but as you know, this is sadly not possible this year. I'd wanted to do this for the D2 conference this summer. Unfortunately, just the timing just didn't work out. But I have both Jason and Fabio here with me today, in case you forgot who they were. So Jason and Fabio, welcome.
Thanks, Hi, Jeff, for having us.
Hey, how are you doing? So I think, how many years, Fabio, have we been doing the 3D awards at D2 now? I was trying to think about this the other day.
I think probably after the first edition that you came to, then we basically started doing them in Vienna. Or no, the second edition, because it was when we moved to the Metropole, right, Jason?
Yeah, it was I believe it was the third year, maybe.
So 2016 it could have been.
Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing that we've been doing it so long already.
How many people were there at that first one or I guess it was the second one, first one that I was at, but how many people came to that first one, Fabio?
56, I think it was, Jason.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many were there last year?
500 something.
550,
exactly.
554, if I don't mistake.
Yeah. And how about online this year? Jason, you were telling me it was like a massive number. I was surprised how many.
Yeah, that was something that surprised us a little bit. We didn't know what to expect. We'd never done something like that before. I'm sure it's not nearly as many as are watching right now. It's going to be much more watching it now. No, but I think it was around 13,000 unique viewers during the week, which was pretty amazing for us.
Yeah.
And we had, I think, throughout the week, 22,000 views.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is not massive, but for architecture visualization, I think it's quite good.
If you look behind me, that was 500 views. Unique viewers, 500, 2 days.
Yeah, so, I have to say, if I had known at D2 that was going to be our last D2 before a pandemic, I maybe would have savored it that much more. So.
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
you would have slept less, Jeff.
Yeah, that's even possible.
There's a coffee table book somewhere of all the photos of me sleeping at events. It's impossible.
I think I have some in my phone as well.
Yeah, but I've got a lot of YouTube, Fabio. Quite a few, in fact, of you sleeping. So be careful what you do with those photos.
Yeah, but I'll definitely be happy when we can do this again. Get together and share the stage and be with all of the people who come to visit us. So I'm hoping it's going to be next year. Who knows, though? It's really hard to say. Things are so up in the air all the time. But yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hug everybody. Like, just come to me and say, I'm here for my free hug.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this too, and I was thinking, is it going to be weird if I hug people for 5 minutes? Is that going to be really awkward when I don't let go?
You need to just test it, Shart. Just test it.
So you guys are doing a Christmas special event this year, next week, I guess.
Yes. It's called the Holidaytime Spectacular. That's the idea.
I wanted to call it the holiday. What did I want to call it, Jason?
Holidaytime Spectacular Fantastic.
I really wanted to make the point that it was going to be amazing.
This feels like a Borat special, not
exactly.
It feels like our aim was to make the same thing as what is it called? The Netflix show, A Very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just gonna try to have some fun. Everybody's a little bit cooped up these days, so we want to have make some fun for everyone. We have 6 speakers lined up, so we're looking forward to that. Some from various areas in 3D. So we're not going to say who it is until, just like last time, until right before they come on. I'll try not to leak it like before.
So no hints for anybody today.
Nope.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it. So I guess maybe I'll give a little bit of background on the awards. We've got 7 categories this year for anybody who hasn't been following along. Tonight, we're going to be showing the nominee reels of each of those categories and then crowning our winners. We really wish everybody could be here in person to accept their awards, but we've got some really cool interviews with some of the nominees this year, some feedback from our judges. So I'm hoping everybody really enjoys tonight. So our first category today is going to be the student categories, image and film. And I was able to interview quite a few of our jurors this year, and they were able to give some feedback on what they would recommend for students entering the industry, what they think could best set them up for success in our field. So maybe we'll start with that quick montage, and then we'll roll into the first two categories with the student and film categories.
I think students who are entering the industry should be making a lot of work that they like. Even if it's not all great yet, it's work that they like, and quality will come with quantity. I think that a lot of students belabor one image or one project, personal project or student project, for longer than they should.
Never hesitate to contact another studio if they have questions. Because I think that, to me, our industry and all the people that I've met here, it's very nice, very open, and very helpful with each other.
After seeing these images, at least I realized that, some students, some newcomers are super, super skilled, way more skilled than how they were before. You have to decide who you want to be. If you want to be a team player or if you want to be a freelancer, be empathetic and put your ego aside. And be absolutely curious about what's going on in the industry. Know what the others are doing, because there's so much to learn from. For me, being human is the most important thing, and then being a fanatic of imagery, of image making, of being curious about the technology, the art.
In the freelance world, I would tell people to take a business class. You're doing the bookkeeping, you're doing the marketing, you're doing all the things that in some ways take you away from doing the work. Save your money. I think that that's one of the pitfalls that I fell into. I'd get this big influx of money, and then I would spend it all on equipment or software or whatever the next biggest thing was. I'd say develop other skills, not just architectural illustration, photography, drawing and painting, journaling, travel, get experiences there.
Look for inspiration everywhere. Look for your references. Know your tools. Don't assume that you know everything. And try to find people that can mentor you in your journey. The most pivotal thing when I came to London was the fact that I was part of a team, and I was lucky enough to find mentors, not only in seniors, but actually in people around me that could feed back to my creativity and worked well. I truly believe that there is a strength in teams. So try to find your clan, try to find your crew, try to build a team if you don't have one, even if it's not people you work with. Just have people critique on your work and try to kill your darlings. Try to work a lot, produce things faster, not refine them, and then distance yourself from them, look at them from a distance, critique them, and only work on the images that may mean something to you. Don't do everything. Editing is a massive thing that you need to learn.
The nominees for the student image category are Nicola Scognamiglio, Elena Beltran Villar. Nadia Monte. Christian Paul Espinoza. Manuel Gomez. And the winner of the 3D Awards Student Image category is Nicola Scognamiglio.
Yes. I would like to say thank you to CGarchitect for organizing this great competition, and of course to the judges who gave me this great opportunity. But above all, I would like to say thanks to all the people that support me every day. You know who you are, so just thanks and cheers.
This for me was, one, it was creative. Two, technically it was very, very well done, especially like if this is student work, this is extremely impressive student work. Two, I think the choice of an angle, like not for it not to be that 1 point perspective that we all love and loathe, was interesting. And I think it was great that you were a participant in this, right? Like the camera is placed at a point where you're on level with the woman that's standing next to you. And if anything, this would really embody the zeitgeist of 2020. And I think they created this wonderful mood of being alone, but also being together with everybody else dealing with this. And I thought that was a brave piece to do. And it was technically very well executed.
This theme was everywhere during the pandemic, but it's something that has to remain in the, it has to be memorized, I think. And it's a lovely act of humanity when people just, stuck in their homes and they were out singing. So it has to do with the stuff that was going on during those days, and we were all shocked by this, but at the same time it's a beautiful rendition. It's not just a beautiful rendition of what people were doing, but it's also seeing the level of detail and the way people connect. It's very human in a way. It brings out the beauty of emotion and what people are capable of. They're not necessarily friends, but they are united by this void. And maybe conceptually, it's the void that brings people together. In a way, they're not in contact, but they share this moment.
It was a different image than you usually expect from students, in the sense that it was a really thought out emotionally image. Like, it has a story, has a background, it has very well blended people, it has very well positioned people in the image too. And it is a more daring thing. It is something that a more weird angle, like less traditional approach. So I wanted to celebrate that, because this is what makes someone push the boundaries a bit more, like not regarding the rules and just going with something that feels right is what will make them do the next big step.
Yeah, it was made for a competition held at MADI, and it was basically organized by Cityscape Digital in London. And yeah, they asked us to make an image in order to imagine the world after the pandemic, trying to avoid any post-apocalyptic images, trying to figure out something more positive. So yeah, I tried to imagine the exact moment when people got the news that pandemic is over. And the scene is set in Naples, in typical Neapolitan alley. it was nice because it gave me the occasion to try different kind of new softwares, because now it's a year that I'm in this kind of industry, so I'm quite new. So everything is new for me. And yeah, it was nice to try with Substance Painter, for example, trying to actually paint texture on the walls, trying to get that as realistic as possible. You know, when I put people in my images, I try to make them like an eye contact among them. So people that, if a random person that can watch that image can just imagine that people are talking from the balconies. That basically is what happened in realities. In that alleys, the sense of community is something that it's always there. People that live in that situation, they are always like a big community. So that's what this is what triggered me the most, to imagine the end of lockdown in those environments. Because I start thinking, what could be the news in that environment, in a scene like where people it's already used to live like very close one to the other. So what could happen when the pandemic is over? And I just try to imagine like the happy the happy dream.
The nominees for the student film category are Xingliu Yutinju, Razan Jawad, Alikia Maladi, Gestimani Rumpani, and Yanron Yang. Jeroman Singh Hao, Sebastian Tew. And the winner of the 3D Awards Student Film category is Xin Liu and Yutin Ju.
Really? Wow. It's such a surprise. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, the first year I submitted my work, I was already awarded the last one to submit. I forgot the name of the prize. A funny prize, you know.
Thank you all very much. We want to thank CGarchitect and Jeff for providing such a great platform, and thank our judges for selecting our work. Personally, to be honest, this is my second time winning a CGarchitect Awards. 2 years ago, I won a prize for breaking the record of last submission before deadline. Last year I was nominated, and this year finally winning a prize. It's definitely a great honor for both of us.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, CGarchitect, and thanks to my talented partner. I want to congratulate all of the incredible nominees this year. This film is part of our graduation project, and I have to thank you to our instructors, Peter Testa and Devin Weiser, and the support from SyncID. Thank you, and congratulations, everyone.
This felt much closer to a motion graphics thing than anything else, but I thought it was nice because at the end of the day, it is the 3D awards, like, right? We want to embody like everything about 3D. That's great. So to see this was one, it was very playful and it was very cheerful and adorable. And two, it was just technically well done. And I can't believe that they did this in 3 weeks. I think the play with scale was interesting as well. And then at the end, when you have like the phone, you're like, we were just watching this the whole time. But it was, I think, I'm still shocked it's a student film.
This was one of those things that surprised me a lot. It is a very stylized video. It's a very original video. It's nothing I would ever do, and it's really, really interesting. It's really aesthetically very pleasing in a very weird way. But it has a very strong concept. It has a very strong idea, and you just roll with it. Even if you don't understand it, it's actually one of those videos that I had to watch more than once. I had to revisit and rewatch to understand what it was about, which is something that you want to do. You want people to go back to and rewatch things and find new meanings and find new bits and pieces they like.
There is clearly a style, and everything is thought through in terms of colors and elements, and it's all playful, and it's pretty as well. Not only that it has quite an interesting, funny idea.
I think it was very well driven by the music. In a way, it's a funny collection of little images, beautifully displayed. Everything is on display here, and some things are just frozen in time. But you have this melancholic music that carries everything. It's a kind of a poetic message that's built on the back of this little story of consumerism. And I wouldn't have put them together like that. It's surprising. I like the scale that's completely chaotic. Put together things that shouldn't be microscopic or should be macroscopic. So it's a lovely mixture of contrasts, of color, and a very poetic message overall.
But it was very surprising because I think it was very smart done, and the story, the little tiny trolley, and how all the letters and all the sentences were inside the supermarket. Sometimes where the camera will tell you will read the sentence or not. This was very intelligent, I think, and the quality was extraordinary. This is what if they are coming like this way, we have to hurry. The professional ones, if those are students.
That film is actually I submitted 2 films. Both are part of the graduation project, which is about how to combine physical illusion, physical tactility, and digital techniques, such as shader rendering or other like Cinema 4D MoGraph techniques. And we were thinking how to apply these techniques into the form of interactive architecture. For example, if one is moving in an architecture, the form of the building will follow the move of that person. And then we use the form of animation to express this idea. So for the project we submitted, that digital shopping cart, it's about how we can defamiliarize the everyday object from supermarket into something different, like into something funny. It's much more like a movie called Honey, I Shrinked Our Kids. Like 20 years ago. Yeah, we were exploring how the daily object could be defamiliar, could be like create different spaces. I think they are not tight, they're not directly connected with each other, but they are all under the supermarket ecology. For example, there is a farm and like a cinema, shopping shelf, supermarket shelves, and the main character is always miniature shopping cart. It's like a journey from one city to another. And we also used the form of title sequence. We studied a lot of title sequence from films, and thinking about how this form of structure could help us to tell the story of the shopping cart. Yeah, we integrated the cinema 4D techniques into and gave it a meaning. For example, in cinema 4D, a technique is just a technique, but in our world, it could be part of the form of that building. We use a Voronoi fracturing to bring a snack bag into a building, into a multi-story building. That's how we integrated the techniques into the storytelling. And also we put the textures, the text into part of the scenarios. For example, there are a lot of packages and it has texts. We also designed those graphics. We had a semester long to do a comprehensive research and made a book about the idea of physical and digital. For this film, the concept also be part of that 3 weeks.
I think in this film, actually we create five. I cannot remember 5 or 6 scenarios.
Yeah.
That actually we are not creating an architecture that allow people to get in. We are trying to build the world, the phenomenon, allow people to imagine what the future could be. And for us designers, we think that construction things is not the important things for us to consider about. We designers, we want to lead people to imagine what the future will be like. And the engineers, like me 3 years ago, we are consider how to make it true.
That was amazing. I really look forward to these student categories every year. They keep every year. I think they keep getting better and better. I mean, our judges were absolutely blown away by some of the work that was done this year.
It is incredible to see what students are able to make nowadays. It really makes you appreciate, the technological advancement and also how skills get better and better the further we go.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't, we were talking about that a little while ago, but what my student images look like. Now, of course, the technology was different back then in the old days. But
back when there were stone tablets and whatnot.
Exactly. But
it's also a little bit depressing, though.
It is.
Yeah. It's interesting. When I was talking to all the judges about this, almost all of them exclusively said, "Oh my God, if this is what student work is like, I'm just going to retire. I'm giving up now. I mean, there's no point me continuing." So I think that says a lot of the work of the students this year.
But I would just like to say congrats to Nicola for his image and to the other nominees. They did an amazing job. And also to Jin and Yuting for the film. Congrats.
Yeah, very, very good work. Yeah, there's a very, although this is 17 years and, you guys are part of a very elite group of people that are nominated. So yeah, very, very well deserved and congratulations. So. All right, so our next category that we're going to go into is the interactive category, and we will start with our nominees now.
The nominees for the 3D Awards interactive category are Luna's Visualization, Zone, Secondary Bounce, Pure Blink, Case 3D. And the winner of the 3D Awards interactive category is Secondary Bounce.
Really?
No. porque no. I can't believe that.
Wait, no way. This is amazing.
No, I can't believe it.
We have seen the other companies, and we and with Miguel we say we are just two guys in I don't know, in the end of the world, and
I can't believe it. Yeah. I
This is
think it's
amazing.
only to record the reaction. I called Mauro and said, okay, well, we are nominee packs. Forget it. We are not going to win. No.
well, yeah, I think the only things that we was like talking is okay. At least our project is VR and everything is integrated. So, but I don't know if they are going to see all the work and technology that is behind. So it's like the only hope that we have is okay, maybe but when we see the other projects, they are amazing. You know, this is amazing. I'm going to celebrate with the champagne.
We started in January this year creating this project. We have the project in our minds and we try to make it possible. And
We have been developed this idea for 2 years since we started the school, and we started to create all the projects, all the ideas. And this year was like, okay, we are in pandemic time, so it's time to put everything in one side. Everything is from scratch. The apartment design, the logo, the menu, everything is.
the interactivity.
So everything.
The menus.
The blueprints. Using Unreal for 2 years, like right now. 2 years. Yeah.
Yes, 2 years.
And 1 year was the school. All our portfolio in our website is everything was created in Unreal Engine. All images are real time or different experience.
We want to push a bit the limits, to know where is the limit to something real, good looking and interactive at the same time, real virtual reality and all the things together.
We wanted to create a good quality and good performance applications, so everyone can use in his house. The applications they can run in every computer. You don't need a super gaming graphic cards like that.
I could see that it is a full-on product with many capabilities. So you could have the specs of the materials, of the specs of the fan. You had databases that showed specs of things. You had really well lit, really well done interiors with really thought out textures. You had the interactivity when you had the hands and you can play around. And I actually had the opportunity to go on the website and play around myself, which was useful for me to understand how people would interact with the product. So it kind of felt like something that was a more complete approach and a really well thought out approach.
Well, to me, even if it's not an interactive movie or film or application, as a film itself, it was super beautiful. All the lighting, all the textures, how it's done, how they present the job, it's very well done. It's also very intuitive to navigate the room, so it makes it's a big apartment. I couldn't mind live there, but but yeah, no, the application make it very intuitive, look very intuitive, and it was very sensitive all how it's presented, because sometimes the interactive are more raw, let's say, that you can move things around, but this was very kind of peaceful and sensitive, I would say. And actually it looked kind of simple, which means that behind there is a team, a very smart team, behind. When you see that, oh, it looks easy to do that. It's very difficult. There's a lot of job behind, and I like this one. It makes me realize that there's a very smart team behind that.
Congratulations to the guys from Secondary Bounce. That is amazing. I have to say, in looking through their portfolio this year and seeing both their interactive work and then the stills that they're creating out of Unreal, I'm amazed at how far the quality's come with Unreal.
Yes, and I also have to say that I guess that this is one of the categories that it's the hardest to judge, because eventually, it's very difficult, I think. I remember when I was one of the judges, to give a objective opinion just about the video, because I think that, you have to be inside the simulation in order to understand what it is that it's happening. And so, I'm just saying this because the work of the other offices were also fantastic. So it must have been really difficult for the judges to pick a winner. But, Secondary Bounce has done an incredible job. And so congratulations to you guys.
Yeah, really, really impressive work. So our next category, so this is the original categories for the 3D Awards that started some 17 years ago, the commissioned image and commissioned film categories. This is all the professional work that's done in the industry. So this is always one of the most sought after categories and one that everybody strives to win. So with that, we will cut over to the nominees.
The nominees for the 3D Awards Commissioned Image category are Sonny Holmberg, Depth per Image, Henry Koo, Pictory Archviz, Nicolas Dagna, Massimiliano Marzoli, Imperfect. And the winner of the 3D Awards Commissioned Image category is Massimiliano Marzoli, Imperfect.
Really?
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Massimiliano.
Wow. Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was not expecting this. Okay, wow, thank you guys. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm trying, as I was saying at the beginning of the chat with Jeff, we are trying to have fun. So, yeah, I'm trying to spend a lot of time in the first phase of the project, just to play a lot with several different combinations of lights, of atmospheres in general. And I think maybe the difference is that I spend more time explaining to the architect why it's the right decision to go for something instead of something else. And because a lot of people also ask me about this, how did you manage to let the client accept this kind of view, this kind of image? And maybe I was good enough to explain why it was the right choice to go for something like this. Because at the end they also were happy. They received something. I think something really cool, and for a very standard project, and maybe that's also our part of our job, not replying tons of times the same thing. That's why probably all the images we are seeing today are more or less similar to each other.
This one I really liked a lot. This was one of the ones that had me talking to myself, wondering what was happening. And at first when I looked at it, I thought, it was some kind of reference to, I don't know, zombie apocalypse or, something like that, happening on the foggy side of the image. But when I looked further, I started creating this whole narrative in my head was, no, those aren't zombies. Like, it's almost like those are people, maybe homeless people. Or people with food insecurities, and are they, looking inside of the restaurant? And then there's the guy in the restaurant. Is he being aggressive? Is he being passive? Is he going to help those people? Is he going to antagonize the people? It just created all of this conversation inside of me. So there's a lot of internal dialogue happening for me. I love the colors and the lighting. It's almost like it's two different images blended together. I really liked this image.
This is the one that I was like, well, this is gonna win. I was like, this is gonna win. It's something that, being out there in the rain and these people trying to get shelter, and you get that interior that's just a small part of the image, and it's got this tension. The grading looks like a horror film, and maybe you're looking at that guy inside and say, is that Dexter from from the series? What's he holding behind his back? Is that a knife, or what is this? So there are a bunch of things that, firstly, it's a beautiful shot, and this got me, right here. And then it raises these questions, why does it look like that? What's in there? Is that a restaurant? Is that a butcher shop? So yeah, it's something that I would like to do. It's one of those images that I would personally like to, reinterpret or do something else about it. It's a challenge for me, but it's a beautiful image.
The nominees for the 3D Awards Commissioned Film category are Flood Slicer, Dan's Digital, Infrastudio, Binyan Studios, Diorama. And the winner of the 3D Awards Commissioned Film category is Flood Slicer.
Thought it was a really creative way to show the building without showing the building. And I think it spoke well of them because they're also pulling techniques that aren't necessarily in the ArcViz industry, but really used in motion graphics, right? This idea of using abstract shapes and using matching sound with it, using these materials to craft something that evokes the building without necessarily literally showing, each amenity space. And you're selling a mood, and I think they were very successful in selling that mood. And it's also like, I like those techniques and I want to see those used more, and for us to be able to play with stuff like that. Obviously they have a really big team there that's capable of doing this. But that I thought it was a really nice way, and it's going back to what we spoke about before of showing a project without necessarily compromising the vision.
I love the Flood Slicer movies because they run two stories. One is super conceptual. The other one is rooted in the concept but unraveled, and you have this creative adventure that you take through what makes up this concept. It's a deconstruction of that concept, and I'm a sucker for everything that has meaning.
When I was going over all the films, this one makes me like, I don't know, trigger something, like we were before, trigger something inside me, like this is very well done. At the beginning, you don't know what you're seeing, because you don't know if it's going to be a building or it's going to, what's going on, but you can not look anywhere else. Like you're stuck in the video or the film. Sorry. It's all the materials, the rhythm of the scenes, they are very, very nice done also. And it's very original, it's very smart. It talks about the building, but with different maybe objects, let's say, maybe objects, textures, lights. It gives you like the feelings that you will have on the building. And this was very smart for me. It's like Arby's film goals.
Just surprised me. I didn't expect to see something like that. So I was genuinely surprised that it wasn't an R&D project, that they actually managed to pitch that to a client and have someone roll with it, which means that they had a very strong creative concept that made it through. And then the editing of it is just stellar. It feels like a music video. It just pushes the boundaries of what architectural visualization is and CGIs are. And it just goes beyond any norm or preconceived musts and like hero shots and everything. It just rolls with it. It's very well structured. I can imagine that the storyboard of it was very, very clearly laid out. So it feels like a very, very lasting sort of work. It feels like even in 5 years' time, it still will be relevant and something that we can refer to as something that's cool and useful and daring.
They let us go wild on this one, really. I mean, no, I don't think there was much convincing at all. He just wanted something cool and sort of dark and visceral. It's probably the word for it. And he was receptive to that. There's a lot of other, let's call them developers, might always be in beige, everything from the way they texture the inside of their apartments to the way that they look for the rest, everything they do. So no, these guys were really quite receptive. They were doing a big spend on a big display suite with, as I said, like a sales path that meant that they were going through this brainwashing room, as I like to call it, a big dark black space that everyone just gets bombarded, and that's really the briefing. So we came up with a visual strategy in this case. So we pushed the agenda, I guess, on not being the filmmakers or the artivisans. We sort of came up with a visual overall film strategy, which included the idea that you get walked into this room. We then got involved in how that install would happen. So it was all about environmental build as well. So how that room was then constructed and type of audio and all the AV side of it as well. But then we had to push the agenda of this. Why this is brave is that in the end, it is brave in the sense that it doesn't really show you anything. It gives you glimpses of something. It's what, as I say, it's a thing that brainwashes the audience, and then they come out the door, and then there's a sales agent standing there with an iPad or equivalent showing the boring videos to chew that. So we've always walked this line of, pushing strong agendas without ever being the brand agency, and being more the architects delivering, visual solutions. And it's a very hard line to draw without sometimes causing problems with the brand agencies. Okay, but it is something that allows us to make things like this. This is what Flight Slice has done for 12 years, is effectively push the agenda. We've been going for a lot longer than that, but the last 12 years, our films have tended to always try and push a narrative agenda that is not a fly-through. To be honest, I got bored making fly-throughs in 2008. We hope that people will look at it and take it for what it is, and also see it as something that everyone standing here got to come up with something of their own little creation that then got put together into this big tableau. And I'll also say this, the bit that was probably the hardest or would most likely not work is that big ending, because it's a bit of fluff if you just end up washing people with stuff and exploding glass and the animation team got to push Phoenix, they got to they got to roll out with both fluid and with smoke effects and things like that. So we did get to test, and it was also an R&D exercise. We got to actually test and do different new things with it. But what I was saying with that ending was it needed a big ending to sort of get this idea of you need to shock and awe. That's why I said in the comments, turn up the sound, because if the sound's low, you don't get the shock and awe, and that's really what it's all about.
All right, congratulations, Flood Slicer and Massimiliano. That is some amazing work. I have to say, Flood Slicer, you guys have really, pushed the boundary this year of doing something that I think very few clients are willing to do. So it's amazing that they had the courage to do something that kind of cutting edge.
Stunning, absolutely stunning work. First of all, Massimiliano, congratulations. Forza Italia. We always have to bring the name of the country forward. The movie from Flood Slicer, amazing work, really amazing, stunning. And also, I'm very happy that there are clients that allow artists to go this far and make things like this, because it takes courage also on the side of the client.
Yeah, I would also like to say congrats to Massimiliano and the whole team at Flood Slicer. Yeah, I mean, this film is really amazing for the boundaries I think it's breaking in, like for advertising what is a condo building, basically. And I would like to say hats off for that. It was a really great job. And Massimiliano, you were up against some really crazy images, so congrats there. Amazing.
Yeah, the mood in that image is fantastic. It was something that our judges commented on a lot, how much they really enjoyed the story, kind of the unknown that was going on in that image. So yeah, really, really well done this year. So congratulations, you guys. I guess our last two categories, we're almost at the end now, is probably maybe the most interesting two categories, because they're the ones that are not dictated by the clients, and the creativity and expression that people have, the leeway that they have is unlimited in theory. So with that, we're going to move into the nominees for our non-commissioned film and non-commissioned image.
The nominees for the 3D Awards non-commissioned film category are Onder Elenkar, Joshua Newman, Minmud, Beauty and the Bit, Bertrand Benoit, Aris Mikalidis. And the winner of the 3D Awards non-commissioned film category is Bertrand Benoit.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Congratulations.
That's amazing. Thanks. That's incredible. Fantastic. Wow. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And I was really looking at all the other stuff, and there's some really, really good stuff there. So it's really it's really amazing. Yeah. There's something very special about it, because because you guys are all pros, and it's very humbling, not doing any commercial work, putting something there that the pros say is good. It definitely has, it adds a lot of value, to that judgment. I was vaguely aware of Boulet. I was aware of Boulet. I guess because I'm French, so it tends to come up. He's also like a historical figure, so it's the French Revolution and all the ideals of classicism and so on. He's a bit like a concept artist, right? None of this stuff is seriously meant to be built. and I thought the idea is just very simple, you know. To this thing was never built, and it's not really meant to be built, so it's ideal for CG, right? You can build it as though I mean, you can make it look real, even if it's physically impossible to build. And I did the amount of research that I needed for the thing to be plausible. So I guess I needed to read a little bit about where the things were intended to be, what the purpose was, was there any sort of work of literature, you know, that was associated to it, and a little bit of the history, but not that much. And I guess some, you know, I got some books as well, but to get the blueprints, and then went on to the archive of the Bibliothèque Nationale in France, which has some of the original drawings, and he has blueprints, and then he has perspective drawings for each of these buildings, and they look quite different. I didn't train as an architect, right? So I don't have. I'm self-taught. I don't have my academic background is super thin in that respect. So I was aware of him visually, and I was very. I mean, this is stuff that I've always found very appealing, and because of the not completely real side of it, you know, there's a fantasy aspect to it, there's a surrealistic aspect to it, and it's this guy meeting the kind of stuff that I normally do, which is recreating old buildings, or older buildings, in the computer, and just turning around them and taking shots and you know, try to do this in motion. So I have this obsession, and then I ran into this guy. I guess, you know, in between, all these are personal projects, so there's no time pressure, nothing. And when you've done one, and you've finished one, and it's out there, you start thinking about what's the next thing. And so I guess at one point I was just going through my hard drive, and I opened one of these, and it was I think it was the Mausoleum to Newton, which is the one you see at the end with the sphere. And I had a little scene there, and I never really got anywhere with it. I just started building it with the idea that I might, you know, do a series. And so I dug that up, and it was several years old, so I you know, reformatted it and brought it up to date, and added better assets around it, and so on. And it didn't start as a you know, I'm going to do a short film. It started as I'm going to do a series of stills, and then it was kind of a transition period. I was using both V-Ray and F-Storm for this, and working on the GPU, which I wasn't originally when doing these things. And I thought, you know, these are actually pretty simple scenes, and so they're rendering really, really fast. And I could add some motion to it. And then once I had this, I had a lot of fun with the soundtrack as well, trying to starting like doing a collage of things, and it was sort of partly music and partly atmosphere, and it's just like it developed organically like that. And only at the end I started to think about it more as a finished piece, and with a bit of a structure. And it was also toward the end that I thought I'm going to intersperse these shots of the blueprints, you know, the actual etchings, and then the you know, rendered building and so on. So that, you know, one thing that that was very noticeable to me while doing this is that it's really hard for me to work without any photographic reference. It's you've got the drawings, and they're very, I mean, some of the details is very kind of hand wavy, and you said, well, I don't know exactly how it would work here. Let's just, you know, make it a little bit blurry. And but if you build this in 3D, you have to have, you know, you have to have a solution, and also in terms of the scale. So that was a new thing, you know, starting. I guess it's like I guess a lot of professional art pieces like this, right? You start with, I mean, Mike can talk about this better than I can, but I imagine you start with very little and you have to bring a lot more than, you know, what I normally do is like these reconstructions of older buildings, right? Which are basically trying to get as close to the actual building as possible, but it's just copying photography basically, or being, you know, being there even and taking your own photographs and your own references. And here you have nothing but the etching, you know, and it's quite removed from where you want to go. So there's a long way to go.
What I love about Bertrand's film is, on top of being absolutely stunning and executed just brilliantly, it takes these 5, you know, architectural propositions from 250 years ago, places them all into their own world, and then cuts them together in a way that's a little bit atemporal. Watching it, you get, you know, the sound design, which really kind of keys you into the location. They give you some hints. At one point you hear a little bit of a city background and some crowd noise. It gives you a hint of the time frame, but it's hard to say whether these buildings were just built, whether they've been around forever, whether they're in our world, a different world, whether it's 5 different worlds you're looking at, or 5 different places inside of the same world. And it presents it in a way that, for me, just kind of transports you between the slow, deliberate camera moves, the beautiful editing using the original etchings from Boulez to cut from one building to the next. It transports you into these places. You can almost smell them and feel the sense of light in these places. And whether or not it's a different version of what our world could be, a different version of what, you know, late 18th century France could have been, it's hard to say. And I think that ambiguity makes it really easy for the viewer to place himself into the world and make that world whatever he wants it to be. And for me, that world is one that I want to exist.
Bertrand is making these, has been making these pieces for a while now, and I highly appreciate whoever takes these jewels, these gems of architecture that were never, maybe they were built or demolished, or they were never built. And it's a chance for us to go closer to them and to see them. And but I really appreciate the you know, the level of detail, the research you put into these, and the way they came to life. And it's not just one, you know, it's several projects, and that is I think it's a very, very tough mission that he had there.
I like that I was doing something quite intellectual, right? And it's using visualization to explore something, right? To do research. And I've always liked these projects where it's like, let's look at the unbuilt, or let's re-visualize something that may have originally existed as drawing or in text, and bring it into the present day. And to be able to see that, I thought that was quite fascinating, right? Because it does something that we always want to do, which is what if, you know, how would this be built today and how it would look today? And I thought, obviously, the craftsmanship of the whole video is beautiful. I like that it was done in almost sort of these smaller acts, right? You always have this split title screen in between that prepares you for the next chapter, and everything is explored with a level of intentionality that I thought worked really, really well. And yeah, I thought it's because I've never even heard of this architect before. I thought it was nice to discover the work of someone new, and I think like it would be cool to see other designers get the same treatment.
The nominees for the 3D Awards non-commissioned image category are Reynaldo Handaya, 2G Studio. Thomas Dubois. Key 9, Pedro Fernandez. Chaba Banati. Vittorio Bonapace. And the winner of the 3D Awards non-commissioned image category is our Key 9, Pedro Fernandez.
What the fuck, really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Congratulations, my friends.
Oh man, I'd run and go like, "Woo! That's insane, man. I can't believe it. It's amazing, man. And thank you so much. I really don't know what to say, dude. I have to say I was not expecting it. And I told the guys, Timon was like, this year, you got this year. And I was like, no, this year I've got no confidence in this year. I'm happy with the image, but I know this year I'm not gonna win. Well, I know. Man, thank you so much. Honestly, I think if I'm gonna do a thank you, I just want to thank you guys, honestly, Jeff, for everything you do for us, for the community, for everything that you've done for everyone, man. You're like a rock in this industry, and you're like, they can't thank you enough for all these years, for all the stuff you've done. I think if I'm here, it's also because of you, because of all that you've done for the industry indirectly, even before I knew you. Also, man, big thank you to the judges. I know just the amount of work that goes in there, and I'm so crazy happy and excited that you guys chose it. And yeah, I just want to also thank the guys, man. You guys, I mean, I've already talked a little bit with the guys, but you know, you guys, since all this COVID stuff, you just pulled together. You've been insane. You've created the most amazing work that I've seen, and you guys just rock.
Well, I mean, thanks to you as well, man. You are the one teaching us.
Man,
thanks very much, man.
We're all teaching each other, and it's right, cut. And it's it's amazing, man. You guys, I spoke with Jeff and Mike. It's incredible what you guys have done. And I feel since we went remote, like it's been so hardcore, like for everyone, and you guys just went to another level, and you're just pushing the company forward. You're pushing yourselves forward. The work you're doing is inspiring. You've all been incredible. You've put up with me as well when I'm stressed and stuff, and you helped a lot. And I think, you know, that's why I think this prize is all of ours, because I couldn't make this and I couldn't work on this if it wasn't for all of us. And to my wife, Kalita, and business partner, who also enables me to be able to work on stuff and keep creative while I do this. But this is awesome, and I hope we can share a big drink. Oh man, it's insane, man. I'm so happy, and I'm happy we all kind of get to share a little bit of this together, even if it's remotely. And yeah, man, I just I don't know what to say. This is like doing it once for me was insane. Doing it twice, I'm like, I'm just retiring, guys.
Pedro's image got a 10 out of 10 for me. I was blown away. So, colors, gorgeous. Composition, super strong. All your technical stuff done really, really well. But I think what moved me the most about his image, and all of those things factor towards that, my favorite part about the image is that you have this piece of futuristic architecture that is speaking to the landscape, but not necessarily being deferential to it. It relates to the environment that it's in while still making its own statement. And then that is juxtaposed against this kind of beautiful pastoral scene just sitting in the foreground. There's these like 3 layers of, I think you can say story, right? Because you have the mountains, you have the futuristic building, and then you have the pastoral farming. That's all suggesting I don't know where this is supposed to be. I don't think it really matters, but I think that there's a richness and a depth to this piece that is then accentuated by the mood, and there's a lot of hope, even though you have futuristic, beautiful building and traditional agriculture taking place in front of it. And I feel like it takes these very separate things and it brings it together into suggesting a world that I like, that I hope exists. And then the colors are gorgeous. It's dramatic. The composition is amazing. It's everything you expect from a Pedro image at this point. Though, I had to do some Google reverse image research. When this image came up in my judging, I spent a good 10 minutes trying to find out who it was by because it blew me away that much. And I failed in finding out who it was. And I'm very happy that it was Pedro.
How can I judge a Pedro's image? I mean, I'm not fitted for the job. No, I didn't know that it was Pedro images. This one, the composition, the story, the colors, everything amazed me. The structure that you don't know where it is, it's in the middle of a field. You want to know more. And when an image makes you want to know more about it, it's a very good one. Sometimes when you look at an image, you say, okay, that's good, but if you did that, it will be a little bit better. Maybe it's a professional thing that I have in the studio. But with this one, it was like, that's just damn perfect.
So this is a really tricky one to kind of to talk about because I'm preparing this talk for solo, right? So I have to kind of reflect on these things, and I've been reflecting a lot on intuition and inspiration and intuition and how you create something as well. And I feel like when people ask that I'm always saying you have to have a mood board when you're creating something, and you have to. I didn't create any mood board at all. It was just pure intuition. I did a few experiments, and I kind of did it in a way where I was just letting my intuition and the enjoyment of the process take first hand. And I feel that was my inspiration. And then that in itself, when I created it and I started looking through what I had done, that's where I started to look at like what my inspiration was and see the multiple pieces of things come together. Like I see like touches of romanticism, a little touch of surrealism, some of Turner and some Van Gogh in there as well with the fields. And then it's kind of, it's a mixed one because maybe it's also got some Simon Staalhagen, I think, because it mixes like technology with this kind of neo-noir type, this kind of very desaturated, very dated look. And I think those pieces all come together and fuse into this melting pot, which is really simple, but at the same time is, it's driven from your intuition and stuff that you've absorbed over the years.
Wow. I mean, that is my favorite category almost every year. Congratulations, Pedro. Congratulations, Bertrand. That is some seriously phenomenal work. So inspired watching that.
Yeah, both of those totally deserve to be the winning entries, I would say. I would like to say congrats to Pedro and to Bertrand. And Pedro, the good thing is, you don't have to injure yourself this year when you accept the award, But congrats again. And Fabio, I'll let you have something to say too, probably.
To me, it's incredible. Two pillars of our industry, Pedro and Bertrand. These are names that are not unknown. These are two big guys, and that have been so influential on the whole industry and the whole global community. I think that this is the best thing that could happen to the CG Awards, to have these two guys winning one of the most important of the category, because I think that this is the most experimental one where we really see creativity being pushed to the edge of what it's possible. And so it's a privilege and an honor to be able to watch the movie from Bertrand and also look at the work of Pedro. Well done, guys. Well deserved, and congratulations once again.
Yeah, this is always the category that I think, you know, raises the bar for the industry. These are the two categories that you know, influence what, you know, the next couple years of visualization in the industry will look like. So yeah, it's always really cool. So
yeah, it's a great thing, definitely, for the industry to have this this level of work to push everybody else as well, you know.
Well, guys, I mean, this is the sad part of the ceremony. We've come to an end of another award season. I can't believe that we couldn't do this in person. It's kind of sad to me, I guess. But at the same time, you know, I'm really happy tonight that we were able to celebrate all of these nominees and winners. I want to give a huge congratulations to all of the nominees and especially to the winners for your amazing work. Very, very good. Congratulations.
Ooh, congrats, Seb.
I also want to thank the judges and our review team for their incredibly hard work. This is not an easy job. Yes, yeah, this is not an easy job to do at all. I think this year put in close to 500 hours worth of work in the judging. So thank you very much for that. I also want to thank our sponsors. Without you guys, this event literally could not happen. So I really want to appreciate that. And please, everybody in the industry, please take note of who sponsors our events, because both D2 and CGarchitect Awards, because neither of us could do these events without it. And finally, I want to thank Mike Golden for helping me out the last couple weeks with all of the interviews with the winners and nominees. You can check out the interviews on CGarchitect. They'll be posted here shortly. And of course, I can't not thank Fabio and Jason for having me be part of the D2 and having the awards always be there the last couple of years. You guys have created something amazing for the industry, and yeah, thank you very much.
It's an honor and a privilege, man. Thanks a lot for trusting us, for doing this together, and we're just very happy to be included, because this is the most important award that there is in this industry. And it's funny because we run our own rendering competitions and people criticize us sometimes for the way we do things, and we're like, no, if you want to have a real competition,
yeah, exactly,
you have to go to Jeff. Here we're just having a laugh.
If you want to have real judges, don't come to our challenge now.
Yeah, no, but next year I'm bringing in the veto power. There's going to be one judge that just has veto over everything.
But Jeff, also I want to say thank you to you as well for bringing the 3D Awards to the D2, because I think that it is a really great complement to what we're doing, and it really fits perfectly, and it has raised the level of our event as well to have that as a part of it. And I'm actually going to miss right now that we don't have the film to get to watch all the films back to back, and then have some beer. But next year, let's hope that we can do that.
I so wish I could be polishing the prizes, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna really miss the after D2. That's my favorite part of the event, seeing everybody and just hanging out with everyone. So I hope in the very near future we'll all be able to do that. So I guess with that, we will sign off for tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us today, and I hope everybody enjoyed the awards, and we'll see you all at the Christmas special.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Watch the ocean kiss the
CGarchitect would like to thank our major sponsors for their support of this year's awards: AMD, Substance, Twin Motion, Autodesk, Enscape, Chaos Group, and Fox Render Farm.